Alright, folks, welcome to episode 82 of the Wee Podcast. Phil here with Clarky.
Evening.
Ooh, evening. And today we're going to talk about a little brief bit about yesterday, the film that's coming out about the Beatles. You'll know.
Synopsis is in there.
Yeah. And then we talk about a few what ifs, things didn't exist and stuff like that there. For what's trending this week, it's a fun one. You might have a little bit of nostalgia in it, and then for the last part, we'll talk about the episode 2 of season 5 of Black Mirror and give our opinion on it. Yeah, that's everything.
That's an episode.
Is this your new thing?
Yeah.
That's an episode. So you're gonna have the end. That's the episode, folks. Grim.
Do I need to do something?
Woo.
Ah.
I don't think.
Woo!
So, what would be the thing you would miss if it didn't exist? Obviously, you would know now, but
Most?
yeah, for me, it'd probably be video games because I would cry. I'd be like, I don't know what else to do. Every time.
There's like an overriding one, which would probably be the internet,
Yeah,
which takes away a lot, if not literally everything.
you could still do video games though, couldn't you? Because you can still do movies because you don't need the internet for movies. Internet's just for the likes of like social media and Google.
But you think pre-internet, like everything was so much slower, so much harder.
Yeah, but you can still live with it.
I don't know. I don't know if you could game anymore.
Of course you could.
A lot of what people like do, surely, for all that sort of stuff is like due to like gaming would plateau. It would just, you couldn't really increase anything.
Oh no, you couldn't. You just have to like stick to like the PlayStation 1 or 2.
But even at that, probably internet, because it would take away a lot. Like, it would take away being able to like instantly go where we're going.
Yeah.
You know, well, I suppose you could maybe do it by phone, but like,
What do you mean?
because phones would still exist. There was phones for the internet, not mobile phones, but phones for the internet. It's like you could lift the phone and go,
like
number.
Yeah.
Hello, what are you up to?
You know, phones existed before. Like they didn't have to have those phones. They existed as well. But
No.
You're like
But
way back in the
but I
day.
mean, just the
You're
general-
like number.
I mean, just in general, like if you
Yeah.
were to go for probably the internet, because it would slow our progress as a species right down, and that would suck.
So you went for like the entire
I would overreach in something smaller, probably like
books.
no.
Star Wars, Marvel.
If that just stopped existing tomorrow and I never knew it existed, or
No, you knew it existed and just got literally
that was it, they were done,
deleted from the entire Earth.
and I could never see it again.
Yeah.
Oh my word, that'd be awful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like video games, if they just never existed.
But you were like, oh, do you remember that time? Everyone else was like, no.
Yeah, that's basically like it's a good thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
It leads into the film Yesterday, which is a cool premise. Really, it's just basically about a guy that, if you watch the trailer, he gets whenever he's riding his bike, the entire city and the entire world sort of has this blackout, and he gets run over by a van or some sort of car.
I would say knocked down.
Yeah, no, okay, knocked down or knocked over.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up. I assume it's the next day. It's just based on the trailer, and
Missing teeth.
missing a couple of teeth. Yeah, pretty bad looking. And then he starts singing. The woman, some woman gives him a guitar to his girlfriend, or if it's somebody.
Yeah, I think it is his girlfriend.
And then he starts singing the song called "Yesterday" by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, when did you write that?" And he's like, "I didn't write it. Paul
Beatles
McCartney,
wrote it.
the
Yeah.
Beatles wrote it. John Lennon." And she was like, "Who?"
Yeah, they've never heard of him.
Yeah, it was the greatest song ever, and the woman was like, "Well, it's no Coldplay, it's not Fixie, is it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh," but yeah. So basically, he wakes up, and no one else knows about the Beatles apart from him, and he just goes on this journey of creating all the Beatles.
He re-releases and
best tracks, basically.
Yeah, it looks good, like it does.
I like the idea of it, I really do, but I there's always been that question of like, would certain bands or would certain artists be as popular now with today's pop culture and stuff? Because there's an awful lot of excuse me, metal bands and stuff that were like, oh Jesus, if we were to release, like, I remember like the likes of Kiss And like Gene Simmons is always going to be like, oh well, doesn't matter what decade or what genre it would all.
I don't know. I think they would do alright.
I don't know because it wouldn't. I don't think you would have like some fiction and stuff if it wasn't for the Beatles. I don't think
Probably
you would
not.
have like some Coldplay and
maybe not the band, but Fix You is literally. I love the story behind it. I've probably told it on this before. Did I ever tell you about it?
Probably not.
The story behind the song. Obviously he's married to or was married to Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
And her dad died.
Right.
And he wrote the song because he didn't know. The whole premise of it is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like, what can I do, sort of thing. And if you listen to the lyrics the whole way through, it's basically him saying like, I want to be able to do something, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
And it makes it like really impactful. Like whenever you know that, it's a really
it is nice knowing sort of backstory behind the
it.
songs. I appreciate that. Like, but. It was all. This is all modernized now, so there's like loads of hits on YouTube and stuff or whatever video one they use. I have no idea what it was. There's so much YouTube, but it's just an interesting thing to think about. That would those songs become popular because we know them? Yeah, we were like, of course they would.
Their class, yeah.
But
would they get out there? I know
exactly. That's the thing. Like I remember, like there was I think it was James Hetfield from Metallica was asked that question a couple of years ago. He was like, I don't think Metallica could be that big if we release music now. If we released the likes of Kill 'Em All back in the day, now I think it would be very different because metal's evolved so much now. But if you think about it, if it wasn't for them paving the way before,
yeah, that's true.
That music wouldn't exist either. So, yeah, it's just a really weird thing to think about. But just based on that, we have a few things we thought about that. If they didn't exist, what would happen to certain parts of the world or just in general? But you've got a couple, and I've got a couple. Do you want to go first with your ones or?
I'll do one, you do. I'll do it in turns.
Okay.
So my first one, people have probably heard before, was what would happen if bees disappeared. Now there is a quote which is basically attributed to Einstein, which is, if bees disappeared off the face of the earth, man would only have 4 years left to live. Now that's never ever been proven that he said that ever. There's a quote actually from a guy called Mark Dykes. He's the chief inspector for the Texas Apiary Inspection Service. I'm assuming that's something to do with bees. He says that basically he's never seen anything that actually definitively links that quote to Einstein. But basically, a bit of background, obviously anyone that doesn't know, bees, they pollinate flowers, basically. 70 out of the 100 flowers, plants, not flowers, but plants that we actually eat, they pollinate. So 70% of basically what we eat, roughly. So basically, the way this is described is hilarious. The way pollination works. So,
do tell.
When a male flower loves a female flower, it invites a pollinator around to its threesome. The bee transfers pollen from the male flower to the lady bits of the female flowers, and a few days later, a baby emerges.
Just sounds really weird. Could you imagine if that happened in real life? Like some fella walks in with like a specimen cup and just like and then like there you go, love.
That's yours.
Yeah.
Obviously we do have other pollinators as well, but bees are the best because they actually need the pollen, so they will always go and get it. That's what they feed their wee babies. Yeah. So they're literally, I don't really know what the term is, but like biologically driven to do that. Like that is their thing.
Their purpose.
Yeah. So and a lot of what they do, it says here as well, is a happy accident. So which is great.
Yeah, it's really weird to think about. Like that's basically what they're made for, right? Whereas we're like not made for anything.
Not really.
Like we obviously are.
We're just dominant, but
but we can literally do whatever we want in terms of career.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I get you. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like this, like we're not here just to be like, oh well, I'll just take that flower, move that from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really weird to think about.
I'm here to move this rock over here and blah blah blah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. So what are the likelihood of this is right?
Words.
What's the likelihood of bees actually dying off? Like what are the odds? It actually could happen.
Oh.
Basically, is the background. Basically, there were a lot of problems. Now, this is a few years ago, but of like basically colonies just being destroyed overnight, just happening, no particular reason. It was literally called colony collapse disorder, or CCD. Basically, not just the colonies that are destroyed every year, but like on top of that, There's a mite called a varroa that basically will like eat them and just destroy them. So there's thousands. We're losing thousands every year. They're not being replaced as quickly as they're being destroyed. In 2013, Obama implemented a pollinator protection research plan, which tasked all government agencies with reviewing ways to protect pollinators.
Okay.
It's used this intel to implement the pollinator protection plan in 2016, so it took them 3 years. Basically, that calls for increase in habitat and decrease in pesticide use as well. Now, whether or not that's still going on now is a completely different story. It doesn't mention that here. But basically, there's a guy called Nino. He works for, let me just find out. Or sorry, her name, is Alenia El Nino. She runs a bee research lab in university in California. And basically, she is essentially saying that it's at that stage now that if we don't start looking after the environment, they will go. Over time, they will go. Basically, my original quote from Dykes, he says it's not just the Einstein quote that's problematic. Chances are humans would survive long after bees perished anyway. So basically, I just love the way it describes this. I'm just going to read it because it's funny. Let's go back to plant sex. Like human sex, there's more than one way for plants to get it on.
Listen to some Marvin Gaye.
So funny. The majority of our food sources are wind pollinated. So there you go. That obviously, when I say bees have 70 out of the 100 that we mainly eat, we also eat other things. So the majority isn't 100 main things, obviously. So basically, corn and wheat, for example, are both wind pollinated. So we'd be okay there. But basically, from a calorie perspective, our food system would be secure. But from diversity, things would be pretty bleak. So, for example, almonds, peaches, plums, apples, cherries, all rely on bee-assisted pollination. Basically, one analysis of the global crop market found that pollinators are essentially or highly or moderately or slightly necessary, as I say, for almost 100 crops consumed by us. We would definitely lose many of those. And then basically, how would our food supply change without them? So obviously that presumes we don't replace bees. This is presuming we don't replace them with anything else. Like, as in, if we went and did it ourselves, like hand to hand, like you were saying, like we don't have to do that, but if we did,
probably would have to.
Basically, well, actually, there was images that came out in China that showed humans doing hand pollination to pears, and that's because they have lost a lot of bees, a lot. But anyway, hiring humans obviously costs a lot, so we try not to do that. So MIT graduates calculated that the cost of hand pollinating a hectare, which is about 2 acres of apples, would cost between nearly $6,000 to just over $7,000. This compared to a recommendation of a 1-2 story colony. What is wrong with me? Per acre at a high rental price of $45 per colony and a $90 rental per hectare carries, basically it's considerably more expensive. But the way it works out.
It's a lot of money, like.
Within 3 months of our last bee dying off, producers would be facing low harvest yields. Grocers would be scrambling to explain to customers why almond butter costs had tripled. Within 6 months, farmers, especially small scale ones, would likely face tough choices about whether they would convert their fields to wheat or not. Basically, at the end of the first year, we'd have a really boring diet. Everything would be wheat and corn based, basically.
At least we'd lose an awful lot of weight.
Probably. It wouldn't end humanity, but it might be wise to think a bit about the chain of events that would get us to this point. Basically, if we lose all our bees, that's the least of our worries. We'd be living in a world that would be so soiled and toxic, we'd have much bigger problems than paying 16 quid for an apple. Just as an example.
Imagine paying 16 quid per apple.
So, yeah, bees are
pretty
important. And also, I think they're pure class. I'm not scared of bees.
Why would you be scared of bees?
You know, some people are like, oh, they're gonna sting me.
No, it's wasps.
Wasps are the worst.
Yeah.
I hate wasps.
Wasps are bad.
Yeah,
bees are nice. Wasps are bad.
Yeah. I
hate wasps.
I know they actually are quite scary. They are, especially if you get a big one.
Big hornet. You ever seen a hornet?
Yeah, they're huge. They are huge.
I remember seeing one in like Turkey or something. I was like, what is that thing?
They are humongous. Like.
It just looks like it's carrying like a grocery bag. It's just like, what are you doing?
It's sitting there actually punching its hand into the other hand.
You're still my grocery wreck. So I've got one about the moon being destroyed.
Oh god.
So it's like the Death Star.
It's like the end of Umbrella Academy. Why do they always ruin shows? You've seen it, right? You have? Yeah, that's okay.
No! I mean, what have you done? No, I've definitely.
For flip's sake, I literally see as soon as it started coming out, I was like, say spoiler alert, but it's too late.
It's like the spoiler alert. Yeah. Oh my god.
That would have been better, but anyway.
So, destroying the moon would send debris to Earth, but it might not be life exterminating.
Okay.
Imagine a weapon so deadly it could gravitationally unbind the moon, blowing it apart. It would take a medium-sized asteroid's worth of antimatter to do it. Which is kind of weird to think about.
Not that much. Yeah.
No, it's not. Could you imagine the moon? Just look at that one. That's a nice. Oh Jesus! What's happened? It's just got so dark all of a sudden. So the debris would spread out in all directions. Obviously, the majority would hit us because it's just we're closest. If the blast were weak enough, the debris would reform into one or more new moons.
Oh,
which is kind of cool. If it were too strong, there'd be nothing left. Just the magnitude of the outer ring, it would create like a ring outside the Earth.
Oh, like so we'd look like Saturn.
Yeah, it would just be like loads of stuff.
Not that would be cool because we'd all be dead.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. You'd be absolutely done in. Like, the night sky would naturally be much brighter.
Why is that?
I'll tell you. Once the moon and all its remnants were gone, the second brightest object from Earth's sky would be completely gone. While the sun is 400,000 times brighter. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
How
the sun is naturally 400,000. Huh?
How could it be brighter? This is really confusing.
Yeah, well, it says while the sun is naturally 400,000 times brighter than even the full perigee moon. The full moon is again 14,000 times brighter than the next brightest object in the sky, Venus.
Right.
When you look at the world's dark sky scale, a full moon, you can take from a 1, the most pristine, naturally dark sky possible, all the way up to a 7 or an 8, washing out even the brightest of stars. Without a moon, there would be no natural impediments to pristine dark skies every night of the year. It doesn't make any sense. The night sky would be naturally much brighter, but they're saying it's going to be darker every night. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
And what?
The night sky would be naturally much brighter.
I'm wondering if that's because there wouldn't be one. I think I know what it means. It means, like, for example, imagine the moon's a torch.
No, I understand.
And if you just turn it off, then you would see everything else far more clearly.
Yeah, I suppose you would see the. Yeah, I suppose you would see the
it's like whenever you go away from a city.
Yeah.
And you can like see all the stars. Like, it's actually mad.
I understand what you mean.
But
yeah.
I think
because it is weird when you think about that. Because like, see, whenever like you have your TV on or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously it's daytime. You can't see. It makes so much sense. Yeah, but imagine being able to see like.
It honestly, I've seen pictures of people
be so close
that went to like Tasmania, just off the coast of Australia, and whenever there's Kangaroo Island or something it's called, maybe it's not Tasmania, it might have been Kangaroo Island, can't remember, but they were somewhere around there anyway in Australia, and you go there and there's no light pollution.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the pictures they take are like
natural.
It's like looking at the Milky Way. It's insane. Like. She, like the girl, I used to work with her, and she came from Australia and showed me the thing, and I was just like, oh my! I'll see if I can find it for you after. It is ridiculous.
It's the same sort of thing as like the Northern Lights and stuff. You can see like the Northern Lights without them, you'd be able to see. I'd love to see all that sort of stuff. Like, whereas here it's just like crap.
It's
just it's just cloud.
You can't really see. But the thing is, see if everyone in this country just turned their lights off, it would look like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, once the
could you imagine? But is it not that Earth Day or something where you turn off your lights for like an hour or something?
I think it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone now. Like. But number 3.
Yeah.
Eclipses would be no more, obviously, because
yeah,
the eclipse. Whether you're talking solar eclipses, partial or total or annular, or lunar eclipses where Earth's natural satellite passes into our shadow, we would no longer have eclipses of any type. Eclipses require 3 objects to be aligned: the sun, a planet, and a planet's moon. When the moon passes between the sun and a planet, a shadow can be cast on the planet's surface, which is a total eclipse. The moon can transit across the sun's surface, an annular eclipse, or it can obscure just a fraction of the sun's light, which is a partial eclipse. but without a moon at all, none of these could occur. That's really sad. Remember, like, everyone going on Facebook and I'm like, everyone looking for the eclipse tonight.
Do you remember you can't look directly at it because you go blind and all this sort of stuff?
Put sunglasses on, boys. Remember the woman eating the Jaffa cake?
Yes.
Any natural satellite would ever pass in the Earth's shadow if it didn't exist, putting an end to the eclipses. Got a little diagram and all, it's kind of cool, but sad all the same. Number 4, the length of the day would remain constant. You might not think about it much, but the moon exerts a tiny frictional force on the spinning Earth, causing our rotation rate to slow down over time. We might only lose a second here or there over many centuries, but it adds up over time.
Mm-hmm.
Our 24-hour day was only 22 hours back when dinosaurs roamed the Earth, and was under 10 hours a few billion years ago.
Huh.
In another 4 million years, we won't need any leap year days. That's weird.
What, sorry?
We're not going to be around. Like, in another 4 million years, there would be no more leap year days.
Oh. So 29th would exist every year? That's
Weird to
cool.
think about that. Yeah. As the rotation rate slows down, the length of the day continues to get longer, but without a moon, all that would cease. It would be 24 hours a day, every single day to come until the sun itself ran out of fuel and died.
Okay.
Jeepers, that's awful. Our tides would be tiny, obviously.
Would we have any?
Well, it would, I mean, it depends on. Probably not. We'd have just an ocean somewhere.
It would just lie there. Wouldn't
just be a beach, like a big beach.
Imagine how dirty it would be.
No, you'd have all the dirt onto the side. All the boats, all the harbours, and all. You'd just be on the floor. They'd be on the sea. Well,
they would.
On the bed.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be called a seabed anymore.
But
I mean, that's self-explanatory, really, isn't it? I mean, I'll go through anyway. High tide and low tide presents an interesting, vast difference for those obviously live near the coast. We sort of do, but not as close as we have a coast.
Yeah. I mean, it's just literally down the road. We would be there. Yeah.
Our tides on Earth are primarily due to the moon, with the sun contributing only a small fraction of the tides we see today.
Oh.
During full moons and new moons, when the sun, earth and moon are aligned, we have spring tides, the largest differences between high and low tide possible. When they're at right angles during a half moon, it's that one with the half moon, total eclipse. We have neap tides, the smallest such differences. Spring tides are twice as large as neap tides, but without our moon, the tides would always be the same paltry size and only a quarter as big as today's spring tides. So yeah, we wouldn't really. Jesus, trying to go to the ocean, you'd be like, oh come on, boys, it's a wee bit of a trek here. Come on, let's go. I wonder if then we wouldn't even have a lock then. Belfast Lock wouldn't be a lock.
It would depend on how much that is tide. But surely the sea levels would rise, and the likes like Holland would just
be gone. I
mean, that's obviously a low-lying city or country in general, but
yeah. Number 6, our axial tilt would be unstable. This is an unfortunate one. Earth spins on this axis tilted at 23.4 degrees with respect to our orbital plane around the sun. You might not think that the moon has so much to do with that, but over tens of thousands of years that tilt changes from as little as 22.1 degrees to as much as 24.5. Quite a lot, to be fair. Like, the moon is a stabilizing force as worlds without big moons. It's like Mars. We would half the moons anyway.
It's got quite a lot, like Phobos. And
Phobos.
Phoebe, I think, is a moon as well.
Sorry?
I think so.
Phoebe?
Is Phoebe a moon of Titan? Or Titan, sorry, Mars? I could be wrong.
It could be. Like Mars, the actual tilt changed by 10 times much over time. On Earth, without a moon, it's estimated that our tilt would possibly...
I'm wrong.
Oh?
It's Phobos and Deimos.
Deimos? Yeah. Okay. Sounds like Dynamo. It's estimated that our tilt would possibly even exceed 45 degrees at times. It's a 22 degree difference. That's unreal. Like,
Phoebe's around Saturn.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, it's still a planet.
I just need to double check.
At least you weren't wrong.
It's a moon.
Yeah, it's still a moon. Like, it's really weird to think about that. Our moon's just called Moon.
Well, I think
it always has a name, but we go, that's the moon. Could you imagine all the planets go, that's our moon as well? We have that one over there as well. We have 4 moons.
It's probably called like Luna or something. Yeah, well, yeah, it's English isn't the only language, so the moon actually has many names. Luna is the Latin word.
Yeah.
Greeks called it Selene.
Dion.
That's a nice one.
It's near.
Just every day.
Sometimes it's near, sometimes it's far. You know? Whenever it's out, we can see you wherever you are. So that's quite nice.
Dear.
So yeah, it would exceed 45 degrees at times. The angle, I mean, not the temperature.
Yeah.
Making us a world that spun on our sides. Could you imagine? Whoa, guys! So we'd be obviously not really, but so we. Could you imagine?
Oh no! On the way down.
It's just your entire house goes, nope, not happening today, boys. Yeah, so the poles wouldn't always be cold. The equator might not always be warm.
Oh, it'd
I
be
know.
awful.
I know.
You wouldn't know what to go out in.
I know. Could you
You
imagine?
have your tilt clothes.
Could you imagine? I've got my jacket and my shorts on just to be safe.
You have to just zip off things.
Yeah.
Zip off your arms.
Oh my god.
The bottom of your trousers.
Without our moon to stabilize us, ice ages would preferentially hit different parts of our world every 3,000 years.
Oh god.
I know. And number 7, we would no longer have our stepping stone to the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, isn't it, to think
It's
about?
true.
But yeah, that's
People are wanting to put lunar bases up there now.
yeah, that's
Probably
just,
within our lifetime.
yeah, self-explanatory. That one really. It's just basically just saying that if you don't have it, there's nothing to go further. I mean, you've conquered. People have said you've conquered the moon, but you've only landed on it. Like you haven't really done
Well,
much.
no, technically we habitate space. But technically,
Yeah, but I mean, no one lives on it.
in space they do.
No, yeah, but
In the space station, but not
on the moon.
not on the moon. No. Like we've been there like what 5 times. I don't know how many times it's been. As a guess, but we've never. Yeah, you're right. We've never actually stayed there for any prolonged period of time.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
I think it'd be cool to go.
So would I, but I know I wouldn't make it back. I
I
want to stay here. Go away.
It's
I just
mine.
like to be too busy jumping up. And
I want
down.
to be the man on the moon.
the only man on the moon. Someone just looks through their scope and they'll just see me going, hey! Me and my flags. Flag!
That's like, have you ever seen the Rick and Morty episode with a smudge on the lens of the... You don't watch Rick and Morty, do you?
No.
Ah, it's funny. He thinks he sees there's a man on the moon, and then this like teacher comes in called Mr. Luna, and he tries to tell his
Oh dear.
he tries to tell his the headmaster that he's the man on the moon, and the headmaster assumes that actually what's happened is that he's been touching Morty.
Oh my god.
And he gets like fired and stuff and ends up doing himself in, and it turns out that it was actually just a smudge on the lens of his telescope.
Oh my god.
But that's only like a mini story within a much larger story, because that the whole thing is just remind me of that. Anyway, bit grim. From one grim story to another then. So what happens if we disappeared as a species? If humans disappeared?
I mean, the best thing about it is it doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter for us.
Yeah, so
But
it's good for us.
Judging from this, the world would be
But that means
considerably
the
better
animals-
for everyone else.
Yeah.
Or everything else, I should say.
Yeah, and the animals would be like, happy days, these boys are gone.
Basically, I'll give a rundown of what would happen, within days, months, years. But initially, it would be pretty catastrophic once we left because of what we built, and you'll understand that sort of stuff in a minute when I go through it.
Yeah.
But then after that, everything takes its course, and we're not necessary.
Yep.
So day 2, so we've been gone 48 hours. Any underground subway systems are going to flood. Day 7, so we've been gone a week. The cooling water in the nuclear reactors runs out, and everything will start to explode. Basically, there'll be Chernobyl everywhere. A year in, birds which are endangered due to rapid rise in electromagnetic signals and radio signals will start to populate again. So within a year, the increased bird population is estimated to be around 1 billion, which is a lot. 3 years in, buildings will start to crumble, and the joints between the roof and walls start to separate. Also, cockroaches are likely to go extinct due to there being no heated shelters for them to live in. 20 years after we're gone, the steel frames that support the roads will start to corrode and buckle, and common vegetable gardens will become jungles, which is class.
I like the word jungle.
I know, it's a great word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just, everything just feels like we should be playing a wee drum.
Yeah.
Just great.
The Jumanji.
That's literally what I have in my head too, the Jumanji tune. 100 years in, because there's no longer poaching, animals will start to flourish. Animals like the rhino and elephants are expected to rise 20-fold in just 100 years.
Unreal.
That makes me not want to be here.
I'd rather not be here for that length of time so we can come back and see them all.
Just awful.
Oh.
300 years, so our metallic structures will start to fall down. So bridges, like the Brooklyn Bridge, all that sort of crap, they're all falling down. They're not going to still be there anymore. dams are going to overflow or actually collapse. So the Hoover Dam, etc., that's going to come down. And cities near anything like that are just going to go. Like the Hoover Dam, we learned whenever we were in Vegas, basically all the cities that run where that used to go, or towns, there's like loads of them. So if that goes, they're all gone. 500 years after we're not here, places belonging to temperate climate zones will turn into forests.
That's cool.
That would be amazing. Sort of reminds me of like
You know why we're saying this is all cool? Because this is not, we're never going to.
But it just sounds so like the way I would love it to be now. But then at the same time, you want your internet.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't have both.
It'd be an awful lot of deforestation all over again.
Exactly. So 1,000 years after we're gone, stone structures that were still standing will eventually succumb to the rising sea levels due to the melting of the glaciers, which is natural. Obviously, not what we're doing now, which isn't at all. So jumping a bit forward, 35,000 years later, after we're gone, any lead deposit into the soil will be cleaned. It will be gone. Won't be there anymore. 75,000 years after we're gone, cadmium deposited into the soil will get cleaned away. It will take 100,000 years for carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere to level out. You know, we won't. That's the damage we've done. 250,000 years after we're gone, plutonium bombs that are stored will corrode away, and the radiation will go away, and nature will once again rule the planet.
Bloom. Yeah, it's weird to think about that, and not like you just think like Chernobyl and stuff. Like even still places there you could go to yet.
Yeah, and that's obviously it's a TV show now, but like you look at
it's a TV show now.
But it is. But
Chernobyl is a TV show now.
But you know, but what I'm saying is that we've got to the point now where it's fine to make a TV show about that.
I think it was always fine to make a TV show about it, though, wasn't it?
But what I mean, just in general, what it did, like obviously 9/11, very quickly after 9/11, there were films, but like, pardon me, but the whole Chernobyl disaster, like it's still, I'm not saying 9/11 doesn't, but it still has massive wider reach and effects like everywhere. Obviously 9/11 changed the world, and Chernobyl seems to have done the same thing. They're both disasters, but it's I always find that really interesting that we think we're really necessary, but we're not.
Yeah, I mean, to the world we live in the minute we are, because it's just what we're used to. But I mean,
but if we all, I was gonna say woke up and weren't here, if we just disappeared overnight,
you woke up dead.
if say somebody got an Infinity Gauntlet and was like, right, say Harambe got one if he was still alive and was like, right, that's enough, everyone goes, except for the animals.
Yeah, I mean,
they wouldn't struggle. The sad thing would be the likes of like, you got to think household pets, they're all gonna die.
Yeah, but then it also means that the likes of, because obviously dogs came from wolves and cats came, so they would all go back to their sort of
eventually,
natural habitat and not have to worry about. But no one would, because no one's gonna like post pictures of the dogs anymore, so it'd be fine.
Yeah, but then it's really sad. Like you just start thinking of all the wee dogs that need haircuts, won't be able to get haircuts because we bred them that way. You know what I mean? But they'll get all matted and won't be able to move.
That's such a strange thing to think about when it comes to like the end of the world.
But it's just.
Do you ever think, all the dogs that need haircuts won't get haircuts?
But then they'll all end up dying because they won't be able to move.
They'll be fine.
How
do you think wolves survived?
They don't need haircuts. Their hair just falls out.
They wouldn't need to.
But our dogs do. Like, for example, my dog would just die in a massive ball.
Yeah.
If he survived long enough to grow the hair that long.
Well, if the way, I mean, he keeps jumping about the place, like, I mean, God knows, like, but I mean, yeah, I suppose if you think about that, but.
There's obviously a lot of really sad things that would happen.
Yeah, but
like
then.
Poor wee animals that don't know how to fend for themselves, but the world would literally become forested again, there'd be jungles, love that word. You know, like New York would literally basically become a forest again.
Like I Am Legend.
Yeah, or sort of like After Earth.
Yeah, it was a weird film.
It was a weird film, but strange. Sort of like that, which is another way to sort of think.
No, I like that idea, but I don't at the same time.
No, it sucks because we're not here. But if we could,
I'd like to see it.
If we could leave to another planet,
yeah,
and just be like, right, just see what happens if we leave Earth.
But then we still could, like our generation still couldn't see it because it's like what 250,000 years you said.
If you could speed everything up and you could watch it happen.
If someone could just make a video of the world doing this, then I could be happy. And then I'd be like, okay, I've seen it happen. Then I'd be like, okay. I got one about music. Okay. To sort of stick into the actual theme of the film.
Yes.
How would the world be different if music never existed?
Be quiet.
Woo! I mean, you think like we said earlier on, like you wouldn't have the likes of like films wouldn't have.
No.
It would just be silent films all the time.
Well, you'd have people talking, but there'd be no atmosphere.
It'd be really weird, wouldn't it?
That's what adds to it.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine having like
just someone walking in the street, just
like the bit where like obviously if people haven't seen Endgame at this point, it's your own fault. But I'm going to use Infinity War, where like Steve stops Thanos' fist. All you would hear is like there'd be no music.
Yeah, it's very true. Like, so weird to think about that. But yeah, so there'd be no music in the likes of like films, or there'd be no musicals in general, because I mean, you'd be livid. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
I know. Like front of the Titanic, where you're
I know,
just the water,
and then the hidden fart that was just masked by Celine Dion's lovely voice. So it says, well, music is not a coincidence. It's a basic feature of life itself. Humans didn't essentially invent music, we just rediscovered it and formulated it in according to our own lifestyle. Animals, even very small insects too, have a strong sense of music. Sure, like little bees, or not bees, ants.
You're so obsessed.
I know, it's your fault. You've got going on bees now. That's the bee's knees. That's you. It's you. Music in that respect is just a result of life itself. It's quite intriguing that life might not have been possible if there was no music in the first place. Many Eastern creation legends state Shabda.
Shut up.
Mr. Loma.
Oh my god.
Mr. Loma.
That's where that came from.
Shut up. Many Eastern creation legends state Shabda as cause of the material universe.
You lost me. No.
Sorry, I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Oh god already. As far as human behaviour is concerned, it's always good to hear music. I mean, every time I hear music, it brightens my day up. Like,
even just hearing those Beatles songs in that
trailer. I know, and they weren't even the Beatles singing them either. It was your man. It helps us connect with many things, which I would agree with. Sometimes we use it to connect with the past. Sometimes we imagine future listening to. Well, yeah.
Think of a wedding. You have a first dance.
Yeah, could you imagine?
And it's
that
not
there?
silent. That'd be so weird,
wouldn't it? All you hear was like shuffling shoes and all, and they really went, and then whispering each other's ear and all. Like, you stop doing that, please. Make me uncomfortable. Many times we think about ourselves. Sometimes we just think about other people while listening to songs. So in a way, it helps us connect with everything. Connection is coherence. Like in physics, we use the word resonance.
Yeah.
Music helps us resonate with the universe we live in, which is true.
Yeah.
Then you think about all the songs that we're creating now, like it's like, how's that
angry?
Like, it's not, but sometimes.
But some people relate that to like being angry, and then others just relate it to.
This is nice and soothing.
That gets me. I just love it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I love that song. What's it say? I don't know. It's about. Have you ever heard the song "Waking the Cadaver"? No, the band's "Waking the Cadaver." There's some.
It's like the old Bring Me Horizon stuff. The album is Suicide Season.
Was it a band?
Suicide Silence.
Suicide Silence. Yeah.
Suicide Season.
Suicide Silence is the band.
Well, then I'm thinking of the old, like it was horrible, like the album cover, but like it is Suicide Silence, isn't it?
The Suicide Silence is the band. Yeah.
Oh, it's Season, no, it's Season. But like it's the. I'm just gonna double check that I'm right there. Yeah, I'm right. Bring Me the Horizon, and like it had like. There's the album cover, just in case you haven't seen it. It's really grim.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Intestines.
Yeah, it's just a woman holding intestines in front of her. But basically, even that, like back then, I was just like, oh, this is great. I just love that music. The old Bring Me the Horizon stuff. I thought just
now it's all like
it's too poppy now. I'm
all pop now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the funny is. They probably signed a record deal that
probably
they have to do that. You know, that'd be my guess.
More than likely.
Anyway, sorry.
No, basically, just to finish off, it just says that so in a way we can't really imagine life without music because it's virtually impossible.
Yeah, it would affect everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Active imagining itself as some kind of music. Very funny, very good.
What is active imagination?
Active imagining itself is some kind of music.
Huh.
We associate music with sound, but that's not at all necessary because it's true. We don't necessarily need sound for music. If it was the case, Beethoven could never have composed about half of his symphonies after he went deaf.
I was gonna say he was deaf.
And we appreciate what we appreciate in music is not the sound, but the rhythm, and the rhythm exists without sound as well. It's just that our external potency sensory organ can receive sound quite easily. There's definitely something in this room today that's not. We're just not allowed to speak. Our cognition of reality is very much based on sensory perception. That's why we appreciate music and sound only. The rhythm that our body cells enjoy is seldom recognized and enjoyed. So I just can't think of life without music.
I know it's funny because you know, even the few examples we used there, which is something you might only do once in your life. Yeah. For example, first dance. Yeah, well, it wouldn't exist.
No, I mean, like nothing would really exist. I mean, you wouldn't really. Well, nothing would. But I mean, like the likes of like everything in pop culture now, nothing would really exist if it wasn't for the likes of music and sound. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't. It's like it's a weird thing to think about, like, but it's true.
Even Billie Eilish's stuff. Have you seen the guy who like recreates what's their song called, like Bad Girl, Bad Boy,
Bad Guy? Is it
Bad Guys?
Which was the guy I showed you?
Yeah,
Seth Everman.
Is that the same one that you showed me? I seen it. Yeah, and it's like him like doing it with like a pillow, like beating it off the chairs. But like he literally makes a song, talking into a fan, beating a pillow. Was he blowing into a cartridge?
Yeah,
you know, cut the other bits and pieces, and it becomes a song.
And he was using He was using like the melody, but creating a different tune.
But you know what I mean? Like he creates a song with like items. So like,
do you remember the time years ago? Like that's what, I don't know if you would watch YouTube back in the day, but people did that on YouTube. Like people created a song from using like test tubes, like banging on like.
Oh yeah.
You remember like spoons banging on glasses and people. Yeah, it was like it's weird. That is creating out of rhythm and sound as well. But I mean, whenever you look at music, like as a drummer, like that's just the way it sounds. Like I would notice the rhythm before I would notice half the melodies in most of the songs. I
think that point is correct. I don't think we would exist.
Yeah, it'd be very. I think it's weird.
You even think of like you watch Our Planet. Like there's like birds that will not be able to mate without it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whales won't be able to hunt.
Yeah.
Their songs.
They couldn't
find each other.
Yeah.
Do you remember that whale that was alone for like?
Oh no.
Because it was a lower register, or a higher register. It was one or the other.
Yeah. No one could hear it.
But then eventually it did find someone.
Yeah.
Which was great. But how sad was that?
I know, it's why would you bring something like that up? Like
I don't know, just came in my head whenever we were talking about sad music.
So what you do is spoil films and TV shows, and then you go, oh,
remember that sad lonely whale? And house dogs dying, whatever, because they have too long hair.
Yeah, exactly. What a strange thing to think about. But yeah, it's it's a good film. It does. I mean, I like the premise, like the idea of it. I like the examples that we gave there as well. But I think life without music would be
crap.
I don't know what I would do. Like, I mean, I listen to music like every day.
Literally,
yeah. I check. I mean, obviously, radio for yourself or Planet Rock or even some podcasts. But I mean, it's weird to think about. Like, but
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify,
literally every day.
Apple Music. I mean, I was on yesterday looking at the newest bands and the newest like albums all being released. I missed so many albums in like June. I missed like loads of them. I was like, oh my god! So I went and looked at them all on Apple Music, and they're all killer albums. Great.
There you go.
Listened to some Glory Hammer yesterday. I haven't listened to them in years. I can't wait to listen to the entire album again. Like what?
And the new album?
Yeah, the new album that was released just 4 days ago. So quite close to it, like. But I have to listen to that. But yeah, we'll end part 1 there, folks, and we'll catch you again in part 2. All right, welcome back to part 2.
Yeah.
I was like episode 2 there. So this is what's trending as usual, and you found this little trend earlier on Twitter. Your childhood was awesome if
hashtag.
Yeah. So I'll read a couple because there's some that are really really old, and it's like I wouldn't really relate to them because I'm not 90 years old. So this one was
your childhood was awesome if you survived the war.
Jesus Christ, that's grim.
You said you're 90.
Yeah, but I mean I didn't say it. Oh, alright then.
You can't say that's not true.
Yeah, it's true. So your childhood was awesome if you played Super Mario Brothers on the original Nintendo.
Okay. I didn't.
I didn't either. There was one about more Red Dwarf.
Okay.
So your childhood was awesome if you watched.
I haven't watched that as a child.
but I watched it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because they did the salute from Red Dwarf as well in Destiny. Do you like that? That's kind of cool.
It's a lot shorter than.
Yeah. Could you imagine? To be fair, I would love if they actually had the entire
It'd
one
be
in.
incredible.
Because you just imagine people at the start of strikes and I was doing this here the entire time.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I'm not going to read some of them because some of them are quite dirty. Yeah, so are not even dirty, just some are very, very inappropriate. So your childhood was awesome if you lived in a neighborhood with lots of other kids.
Yeah.
Could you imagine not being in a neighborhood with other kids and just having nothing else to do? Because I mean, as a kid, what I would do is would kick the football around with a few friends, and then whenever my friends were like burned in or something, coming out, mate, you coming out?
I know you go and knock the seat, but we're not in.
Yeah, and you used to go, alright then. You used to get your ball and kick it off the wall.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. It's true.
I remember years ago we still had the fence there. Like we used to kick the ball off the fence, and people used to hate it. Yeah, it was like, what is that noise? Sorry,
we used to do it in the carriage door.
Oh,
boom!
Yeah,
every time.
Oh,
we had a double garage.
Right.
Similar. Is yours double down there?
Well, it's not. It's a kitchen now. So.
Basically, we had a double garage, so the big echo was it was like boom.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the ball wouldn't really bounce. They would like hit it.
Was your garage door metal as well?
Yeah.
So ours is obviously the like PVC stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But back then it was metal. Now obviously the one we had was PVC.
Yeah.
It was loud. Like thinking back, we must have been awful. Like must have been awful.
Kids now are worse, I think, but I mean that's just my opinion. Your childhood was awesome if you watched Barney and Friends. I don't think so. I hated Barney. Did you hate Barney?
My sister was more into it.
I hated Barney something shocking.
Wasn't really my thing.
Childhood was awesome if your cereal wasn't all about the whole grains and being healthy.
What cereals do you remember? Sugar Puffs were the SH1T.
I liked Sugar Puffs, but do you ever like pee sometimes and smell Sugar Puffs? No.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And that's if you've eaten a lot of sugar, basically.
But sometimes I just haven't.
Or caffeine.
It could be caffeine, yeah.
I think coffee sometimes does that. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And that was instantly one of those things you said, and we're like, come back, please. But
it's so annoying because whatever you do, you're like, I'm gonna go for some Sugar Puffs.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's weird to think about. Whenever you pee, you want to have some Sugar Puffs. Doesn't make any sense. So like Sugar Puffs, like golden
Cookie Crisp,
golden nuggets.
Golden Nuggets were unreal.
Cocoa Pops were my favourite.
Yes, they still are. Yeah, for me, I love them now.
You still have them?
Yeah, if I could. As in, not that I can't, but I just don't buy them.
They don't taste the same anymore.
There's almost a kilogram box I seen in Tesco earlier. £3.
Yeah.
£3.
Yeah, it's expensive. Like
that would last me like a week.
Yeah,
it will be done.
It's not good. Like they don't even taste the same anymore.
I still really like them, but they're not as good because the milk doesn't go like pure chocolate anymore. Yeah. It's not as.
Have you seen the white chocolate ones?
Haven't tried them, but I've seen them.
Where have you seen them?
On TV.
Oh.
Or not TV, on like Facebook and stuff. Although I did see somebody I know who lives in Ballycarry that had
the white chocolate ones
on Instagram. They posted a video, so they are somewhere.
I want to try them, but I'm not a big fan of white chocolate. But I just want to try them because
see what they're like.
Yeah, but I seen an awful lot of people say like, so Rice Krispies. Then I was like,
it's not though. They're not.
How are they Rice Krispies?
They're not white chocolate.
There's no
we
chocolate.
have definitely talked about this.
Have we?
Almost certainly.
I don't think we have.
Maybe not on record, but we have definitely mentioned that exact conversation.
Really?
Like word for word. It just hit me at the end there. It was a real deja vu.
Oh my god. But no, I remember my cereals was just awesome. You ever had Lucky Charms?
Yes, and they're great. And what about whenever Frosties were actually good?
I haven't had Frosties in a long time.
Oh my, they're not the same.
No.
They go soggy much faster.
You ever had Ricicles?
Yes.
Would you say they're better than Rice Krispies? Because
they were just sugary Rice Krispies, and they were great.
So, but would you rather have Rice Krispies with sugar on them, or would you rather have Ricicles?
Oh.
Yeah, I prefer Rice Krispies with sugar.
See, I really like Rice Krispies anyway.
Same.
You wouldn't even need to put sugar on. So probably Rice Krispies, because I don't imagine Ricicles would be that great.
Yeah.
Without sugar.
Yeah, but then Frosties and cornflakes with sugar.
Literally, yeah.
So weird. It's all Kellogg's, like screw Kellogg. Your childhood was awesome if you played hide and seek outside with only the moonlight to see by.
Who are you playing that with?
Do you used to play hide and seek at
night?
Time? Yeah. Remember we used to play hunts and all?
Oh, we used to play hunts, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose that sort of is the same, yeah. Fair enough.
It is literally just the same.
And you used to be like, oh no!
Yeah.
Like it was like great.
Whenever you heard people's feet, they're like, oh Oh, you see me?
That was a great game.
I hated playing Hunt.
You used to have like no fear. You used to be like climbing in behind the oil tank and all. Like, what are you doing?
I know, but I remember
mad.
one time we played hunts. Whenever that field and all was like basically
not
field,
houses,
not houses anymore. See some of the hiding places we get into. I couldn't believe it. And obviously,
you'd like crawl in beside like a badger and be like, shh.
Badger's like, right, ain't no bar.
Hunt.
Could you imagine?
So I have that too, but they try and kill me.
I literally. Oh dear, that'd be awful. I mean, this is kind of stupid, but this is like a sort of a social media one. So your childhood was awesome if you remember the times before Twitter and Facebook.
I do.
Yeah.
I actually remember. I wasn't a particularly early adopter of either. I resisted them for a long time. When I say a long time, it felt like a long time in comparison to everyone else.
Yeah.
Because people in my class and stuff used to be like, "Oh, you need to get Facebook. You need to get Facebook." And I was like, "I'm not getting Facebook." But this is like, I don't know. I would be able to tell me what year I joined, but it might have been like the year after it became like a thing. Like I think it was like 2004. It might have been 2005, 2006 whenever I joined. Yeah. Maybe 2007. I might have lasted a bit longer. Yeah. But Twitter, I know for sure that the likes of like Addy and all the guys in the shop had it before I did. Yeah. Because I was like, what the hell's the point? Not just text me. Yeah. But now I get it.
Well, I actually realised I joined in 2011 on Twitter.
2011?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
We've almost certainly went through this in a social media episode, but I couldn't tell you when I joined. It'll tell me somewhere, I'm sure.
It tells you whenever you go to
October 2011.
So we both joined in 2011.
Yeah.
It must have been, like, I was the same way. I was like, I could be bothered with all these sort of trends and all. Because everyone just thought it was the next trend, like Bebo and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I joined Bebo quite late as well. I even had a MySpace page at one point.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, I never had one of those.
Grim. But it's all used for bands now, or it's closed now, isn't it? MySpace. But I remember going on the Twitter and Facebook quite late, and I was like, what's the point in this? Like, but
no,
now it's like,
well, Twitter's probably a bit better.
I love Twitter. Twitter's unbelievable.
Anyway, what else?
I'll do maybe one more.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you what your
Well, I would. Okay, I've already got mine. What it's gonna be?
Okay.
Yeah.
Your childhood was awesome if you remember all the nostalgic sweets I used to get, like cola cubes and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love cola cubes.
The big bottles. Remember, you used to be not like literal, but like the jelly big bottles.
Oh yeah.
The giant cola bottles, whatever they're called. And
do you ever going like across to Castlemar shop and getting stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting like, you remember like 10p mixes or 20 or sometimes like pound.
And it
mixes.
was 20 sweets.
Yeah, and it was like, well, it's now 20 mixes like half a cola bottle.
I know, you're lucky.
But I remember getting the likes of, do you ever get the little soap sweets?
Yes.
They were on the floor.
They were like wee, like
red ones.
Yeah,
they were on the floor of every single classroom in my school. So it was like ping, ping.
Yeah,
ping.
they tasted like
soap.
literal soap.
Yeah,
but they were like wee smiley faces. Well, it wasn't like a smile. They were like a wee
half
moon.
They were little nipples.
I remember them being like wee half moons.
Oh, they were the later ones.
I remember those.
Yeah, the soap ones, like old people sweets.
What about itty bitties? Nope.
Teddy committee?
You ever remember itty bitties?
No.
Okay, just me then.
Why? What's itty bitties?
Literally, it was just compressed sugar, more or less, but it was so good.
Oh no! Do you remember the big sugar cane things you used to get? The big massive like sugar. Sticks?
You would pop and just go,
like,
and it would just go into your mouth.
I remember my mate.
Literally with sugar in a tube.
It was sugar in a tube, yeah. People were like, oh, this is so nice, it's flavoured sugar.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember the Castlemar shop had like the big massive ones, big rainbow coloured ones.
Yeah, they were great.
They were huge.
They were great.
My mate Glenn bought 10 of them and did them all at the same time.
Oh my.
His face was pure red afterwards for like days. He was
R.I.P.
like,
Glenn.
yeah.
1993 to 2008.
So bad. Like, he cut all the top of them off and he went,
oh.
And it
like filled your mouth too.
Yeah, it filled. Yeah. But you see, whenever he was trying to chew it, all the saliva and all, it was like, yeah, not that it was all into that. But see, when he opened his mouth, it was all this big massive ball. I was like, it was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. But yeah. What about yourself? What would be your
my big
awesome childhood
throwback is crispy pancakes. They were amazing.
Oh no, it's a crispy pancake.
You joking with me?
No.
Are you having a laugh?
No. What's a crispy pancake?
Findus crispy pancakes.
What?
Oh shit.
Who?
You're joking, aren't you?
Who?
Are you actually joking? Aren't
Yes. I don't know what you're on about. Findus?
You do know what they are.
I don't know what they are.
You have to. What? Excuse anybody if you're typing. This is going to annoy me that you don't know what this is.
Findus?
Yes.
Findus crispy pancakes. It can't be a real thing,
They
surely.
are a thing. That got really loud. Sorry. Them.
No.
What?
No.
They're still on sale.
You mean find us?
No. I legitimately could buy you one of these. Well, not one. They come
I
in
can buy
fours.
them myself, mate.
No, but I swear, like, you could go to a shop. They are unreal. You can get like a wee.
Oh my
Sorry.
god, they look unreal.
They are so good. That one there is well, I can't even see what that is.
Oh, it's bird's
Tomato
eye.
mozzarella one. But that's different. They might have been bought over. But like, whenever at the time there was like a beef one. And
I
there was
couldn't.
like
I couldn't do mince beef.
There was like a wee chicken one. I can't find any pictures of it. But it was.
Chicken curry ones.
Yeah, they are flipping unreal.
I never had them before.
Oh my goodness! There's the other one there. Chicken, bacon, and sweet corn. You can't really see it, but
Couldn't have that either. Sweet
there.
corn.
It,
Okay.
it literally looked like stick, but it was unbelievable.
They look like little
Those-
mini Kievs.
They're amazing, right?
Yeah.
And they are still good. When I was even modern thinking about it.
Oh my
Smiley faces.
What are they?
Oh, I'm not even going into those.
I'm only
The
joking.
smiley faces, crispy pancakes, and turkey dinosaurs. Anything like that. Those sort of child food things.
Child food.
They were just great.
Yeah, you can get turkey fries in Iceland.
Ooh, like
Turkey
chips,
fries. Well, no, they're fries. They're just like little turkey
sticks.
Sticks.
Yeah. Oh my word! Any sort of those crispy pancakes, and certainly the wee smile, faces.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah. The children's food was good, but you can still buy it today.
you can, but it's not the same.
What?
Crispy pancakes definitely aren't as good as they used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm missing out then.
Like
Obviously,
the mince inside used to be like,
proper mince.
well, that's what it felt like.
See,
Do you know
this
what I mean?
like this whole placebo thing where like, Mars bars have gotten smaller. No,
They
it's
have.
not.
They
You
have.
just become an adult. No,
They definitely
No.
have. Yeah.
I could go and get a child's hand
Crunchies used to be massive.
and measure the same Mars
Yeah.
bar and it'd be like 10 times. It'd be the same size as a child's hand.
Yeah. Mars bars legitimately probably used to be the length of your hand,
Yeah,
as in your adult hand,
another about a pinky's worth.
and they are maybe a finger and a half.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Way! But no, even crunchies. But to be fair, Lauren got me a crunchy egg for Easter and they gave me with the full crunchy bars. Big massive
Oh,
ones.
proper ones?
Yeah.
Nice.
My childhood, I suppose it was, childhood would be like coming back from like school and doing your homework and then sticking on COD, playing with your mates and going to like a full toxic party. I love that sort of stuff, like, because you remember all the people from Scotland and all that. Your mouse. Yeah.
I'm going way back to I was like 5 and 7 and 8 whenever I was eating these food.
Yeah.
Skipped 6, didn't fancy it.
I mean, my childhood back then would be like space hoppers and football and.
Yeah. Outside activities.
But even still, my childhood was an awful lot of Jaffa cakes and Bingo biscuits.
Still don't know what they are.
You're never gonna find out because
know,
apparently they
because
don't
they're
even
gone.
exist. Maybe it could have been my imagination,
They
but
are gone.
pretty sure they did exist though. But
Throwbacks.
childhood, eh? But yeah, that's what's trending this week. So we'll catch you in part 3. Welcome back to part 3. So, like we said last week, we're going to do the episodes of Black Mirror. This week is season 5, episode 2.
Your spoiler alerts now, but you were warned last week.
Yeah, you were warned double. You were warned in the intro, then you were warned again whenever we were going to talk about it.
But again, spoiler alert, you haven't seen it, go watch it.
It's a good thing you said about it this time, because
I've already ruined Umbrella Academy,
I
so
know,
I've got
I
to save myself at the end.
I know. But yeah, so episode 2, what do you think of it?
Better than 1.
Again, I said last week this was
Yeah.
my list. It was 2, 1, 3.
Yes. I haven't seen 3 yet. As I say, I'm holding off and sort of watching. I'm not confusing any episodes. Basically, let me just find the name of it because I can't remember. Can you? Smithereens.
Smithereens.
Is that what it was called?
Pretty sure it was called Smithereens. Yeah.
I just want to double check that's definitely right because.
Smithereeny.
But that. Remember that advert?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally called Smithereens. But no, it's actually the first episode has now dropped on IMDb. Was it 7? It's now 6.9.
I'm not surprised though.
Smithereens has dropped too. Was a 7.7. It's now 7.6, but which is still quite high all in across most TV series. But Black Mirror, most episodes are. We'll say most are 8 or above. So Smithereens probably comes in just below average, but
yeah.
in terms of the actual episode itself, In a brief rundown of my thoughts, I thought in all together, because I know we'll discuss the message, but all together the episode was engaging. It was good, as in the way it was done. It was laid out quite well. Kept you thinking the whole way. It sort of did feel like something from maybe like an episode of The Bill at times. It didn't as much feel like Black Mirror, but it was a good episode. Definitely preferred it to the first episode. It was more my thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
I agree. It was definitely up my street.
It was also one of the, like, an episode that was more based in reality, which was different.
It wasn't black. Like, we've said this before. Like, and I've watched all three of them, and I still think this, it wouldn't really call it a season. It's only 3 episodes, but technically it's a season. Like, these 3 episodes don't feel very Black Mirror-y, whatever that means. Like, Black Mirror for me is definitely about like future and weird things happening and twists and turns and all that sort of crack. Whereas these weren't really Black Mirror like. The first one was probably the most Black Mirror like.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. But I would go as far, now this is only, I haven't seen 2 episodes, the third one could completely prove me wrong, but I would say that so far the 2, they have been more aimed at a warning to what we're doing now. Yeah. Not as to what we could be doing in the future. Like, so for example, the first one's like, pay attention to reality. Other things, I know we maybe thought slightly different things on that one, but for me it was pay attention to reality because it's happening now, it's real, and it has real life consequences, whereas online it doesn't, and the game it doesn't, all the rest. And then this one for me was more how a situation, like, just was, well, but like, it's true though, I mean, it was sort of like, it was an episode to me that just sort of shows how fleeting it is whenever we read the news. Like, there was literally, it showed you like the scenario. Anyone that doesn't know, basically, brief rundown of the episode, you can correct me anything I'm wrong here, but basically it starts off with Andrew Scott, guy who plays Moriarty in Sherlock, in the first season or 2 anyway, but basically he's a taxi driver, and he sits outside the headquarters of Smithereens, whatever it is, and that's basically like a social media, it's like Twitter app. Yeah, it's essentially like Twitter with sort of like WhatsApp within it and all that sort of stuff. Basically all their social media is in one place. So he sits outside and he picks people up, asks them if he works there. They don't. He takes them to where they're going, then he goes back and sits and waits for someone else. Basically, I suppose we have said spoiler alert, so he picks someone up. He says they do work there, in a suit, look pretty important. So he says basically the road's blocked on the way to the airport, can they go another way? He says yes, no problem. Basically he starts holding him up because he says he's demanded a phone call with the CEO. Do you remember his name? I don't.
Don't do this to me.
I can't remember his name.
No, I can't remember his name.
But basically, it begins with B, I think. But basically
Brian.
He requests a call with the CEO or he's going to kill him. Turns out the guy's just an intern. So they get put in he changes car and starts driving. Police get suspicious when they see somebody with a bag over their head. For it. Billy Barr. Knew it began with B. So basically, police get suspicious. They see him drive past with the guy in the back with the bag over his head. Police start trying to pull him over. He drives away and eventually crashes into a field. And there he basically says, the police are essentially all crowding around. There's a couple of kids who were cycling who sort of get caught up in it, and they're sort of live tweeting it or live smithereening it, whatever they're doing with it.
Basically.
And it's essentially it ends up, he requests to speak to him because he had looked at his phone while driving to look at one of his notifications. His girlfriend or fiance, was asleep beside him in the passenger seat. And in that glance down, it was enough time for him to get hit by a drunk driver on her side of the car. She died. Drunk driver got the blame, even though it was his fault, technically, because he should have stopped at the junction. And he wants to speak to him, basically, to admit this to the CEO. And then his intention is basically to kill himself after. And just the way the episode is that's not obviously the way. It's not perfect, but it's more or less.
No, but I mean, I think the way everything's portrayed is to the right extent. It's not like overdone. It's not It is a very realistic thing. Like, I mean, people do that an awful lot. Like, if people do look at their phones when they're driving, and they really shouldn't. But I do mean when I say it's like it's just a feature length DOE advert, which is true. I mean, you see half the adverts on TV now. It's like, look at your phone for like 2 seconds and you're done.
Yeah, but I think the ones at the moment are quite clever.
I don't think I've seen enough. I think I've seen
it's like where they pull out and there's a cyclist. And the
cyclist
turns like a ghost and like in through. It's not literally because they're dead, but it's like a stopping thing. You watch yourself, there. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see you. I'll be more careful next time.
It's shocking hearing those accents. Oh God Almighty! But I mean, I thought the episodes portrayed very well, but I do agree it's not very Black Mirror-ish. Whatever that. It's very hard. Like, I mean, it's.
What do you take as a message?
Well, don't look at your phone when you're driving. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, I mean, you just get yourself from A to B and don't worry about the rest of the world until you get there. Like, I mean, it just seems to me like everyone's so engulfed in these platforms that you just need to be like at every waking second. Like, if you stop at a traffic light, someone's on their phone. Yeah, it's mad. I just don't see the point.
Did you want to know who was shot?
What do you mean? Oh, at the end? Yeah. No. Did I want to know?
Yeah.
No.
See, because I think that was a really clever point, because I guarantee you the vast majority of people are like, who was it? Who was it? Who was shot? You know, what did she see whenever she logged onto the computer again? Yeah. You know, like,
I just like thinking of my own things whenever those sort of things happen.
Like,
whenever I don't take those things into consideration normally.
Whenever I watched it, like, I obviously took the message of, again, you know, mobile phones are taking over people's lives. You know, technology can hide a lot of things. Like, for example, she wanted to know why her daughter died, but like, it showed the power of those companies, that they were like, well, no, you're not getting into your persona profile or whatever it was called.
Well, see,
there are, again, the WhatsApp Smithereen people could see way more than the police. Yeah, because they have all your data.
See, the thing is, like, you can get it. You can have like a parental thing, even though she is like, well, she was like 17 or something.
No, she was at uni. She was like 19.
Oh, was she? Yeah. Oh, well, there you go then.
20, or maybe she was older than that.
But you can still have like a parental thing over the. You can still do that. It's just obviously she's not going to be like, no parent in the right mind is going to have a parental thing over a 19-year-old, 20-year-old person.
No, but you couldn't. As soon as they're 18, you wouldn't be allowed. Like,
oh no, well, not legally, like, but no, I mean,
but even on Facebook, they would remove it once you're 18, like, surely. Yeah. So, and again, I don't know what Facebook are like for it, but I know you can memorialize pages and whatever, but maybe it's the same that messages and stuff disappear. But basically, I took a few messages. One, that, you know, these companies have a lot more over us than what the likes of the police could have, because even that episode, they were like, oh, well, obviously you know this already, and she was like, no. You know, that part, there's that aspect of it, and then there's the other aspect of the fact that as the episode ended, obviously the shot was fired, and you seen people sort of look at their phone briefly and go, oh, and then put it away. You know, they were getting updates of all this stuff. This is real. Like, for example, if you've seen tomorrow, I'm not saying you specifically, but I mean in general, if somebody's seen tomorrow there's an earthquake in Indonesia and 149 people died, they would read it and just go, oh. Yeah. No, it makes everything detached. Like, you don't hear about that and go, oh God.
I mean, I think I'm already used to that at the minute, so it wasn't really much of I didn't really take that away from it because I'm already used to it, sort of thing. Like, at the end, it's like, it's just true, isn't it? Like, it is.
No, it is. But exactly what people are doing is exactly what people do, which is,
in real life. Yeah.
You know, the guy at the basketball court was like, you know, looked at it, puts it down.
You know, plays basketball, gets on with his day. Mm-hmm. I know it's sad, like, but I mean, at the same time, what can you do? You can sympathize with it in your own way. Like, I mean, just because it's weird to say, like, sometimes I'm looking at it, that's crap, but then what are you meant to do after that? Because you will put your phone down inevitably and be like,
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing. You can't go like, you know, even if like watching it on the news, you're like, that's crap. It's just the same thing and just in a different screen.
No, it's true. It is, but I think that just in terms of the messaging, that was it. Sort of trying to flag up, like, you know, it's real. Open your eyes, sort of thing. Because again, people don't see it as real because it's not happening.
And the sad thing about it is that he was living for so long and just in guilt more than anything, like, wasn't he?
Was it 18 months? I think it was only 18 months.
Yeah, he was living just in guilt for the entire time. But I mean, it's a weird thing to think about whenever he's like he rings the CEO and he's like, "This is your fault."
But he doesn't.
Well, I know he doesn't.
He rings him and just goes, "It was me."
Yeah, it was me that
It was
did
like
it.
the guy's like, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "Nothing.
Yeah, he was like, "Well, there's nothing you can
Nothing
do."
you can do. Like
Yeah.
it's done. Like it was
Yeah.
my fault." And the
Yeah.
guy goes, "Wasn't your fault." Well, it was. And then he's like, "Shut that computer," you know.
And then he was because he was that's right. He was
Yeah.
doing he was like, "Oh, they've given me lines," and
Even
it was like,
there was a layer in there, even where he was like, you know, there's times I wish I could just shut this down, but I can't.
yeah, the CEO.
And that just shows that it's even beyond everyone else now. It's its own
That's
entity.
that's what your man Andrew Scott was saying. That I don't know his name in the show,
Mm-hmm.
but he was saying that this is what you do. You create these things to be addictive. This is what you do to people.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's true.
it is true. And at the end of the day, I mean, everyone gets on them at some point. And if you still look at your phone whenever you're driving, or if you still look at your phone whenever you're doing something,
Never.
you should.
I find it so selfish. That's like me driving with the four of us in the car and thinking that it's more important to see the latest breaking news than it is to get every person in the car home safe. I just think it is the most selfish thing you can do.
100%.
It does not matter what's on your phone. It really winds me up. See, if I see anyone on their phone, really winds me
How
up.
weird.
And it really winds me up. Like the whole I don't know. As I say, it's like people that waste other people's time. I find that very rude. It's as if to say that's more important. I do. I think it's really rude because it's like, well, actually, no. What I'm doing is more important than what's nine of yous are doing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's as if the courtesy of saying I'm not going to be there. You know, or okay, I'm going to be late for dinner, or I'm not going to make the film, so don't wait on me.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
Is the equivalent. Obviously not as life threatening, but you know what I
No,
mean.
but I mean, it's still got the same sort of message handling. Like, it does make sense. Like it's common sense not to do something that's going to take your eye off the road at all times. When you start driving, you're meant to look at the road at all the times. Like you can't. Like what else are you meant to be doing in those times? Even traffic lights, like you can still be done with a phone in your hand, even if your cars are
If your engine's on,
yeah, you're still be done by it. Like, I just don't
But
understand the reason behind
I've always found that a bit. I think it's your ignition's on. They changed it because stop-start cars.
Yeah.
Technically, your engine's not on.
Yeah, true.
I think it was ignition. They've changed it,
but even still, if you're stopped at a traffic light, what's the point?
No, I don't see the big deal. Like the way I look at it is well, there's actually a thing on an iPhone now. You can set it so that it knows you're in the car. It picks up on your speed, and nothing comes through. Shuts off. Like doesn't turn off.
Does
like,
it on flight mode type thing? Whenever
more or less.
That's kind of cool. See, that's the sort of stuff that they should be doing from the very beginning.
Oh flip! Almost sneezed. Caught myself.
Dear God, you can still like no one's gonna like hurt you for sneezing.
You never know. It might hurt the ears.
Could you imagine? But I mean, like, you can be okay with these sort of things. You can. I don't understand why you have to look at your phone. There's nothing's gonna change. You can have a text when you get home. It's still gonna be there. But I wish these things happened years ago, where they put these little things in. That, you know, obviously the technology might not have been there, like, but I mean, even still, it still would have been a nice thing to do for people. Like, I mean, people are going to be addicted to things, and people are going to take certain.
It's also money though.
Addictions. I know it is, but I mean, money over people's lives. It's just.
It's exactly what they do.
Exactly. It's pathetic. Like, but I mean, we're on them. Like, so.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you don't
just
do your
feed
thing
the
whenever
machine.
Yeah, but
Anything I need on my phone goes through my car Bluetooth. So if someone rings me, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't need text. I don't care.
Yeah.
No offense. I don't get like anything on Facebook or Twitter, and again, don't need it. I turn all that off. So it's just music and phone calls, and that's it.
Well, podcast.
Well, anything through the media system basically, and as I say, I just make sure none of the other stuff comes through.
It's the best way to be like. But then like, obviously there's guys that don't have those like cars, like even like starter cars. Oh dear, but like, the cars that don't have the digital radios and stuff that you can't plug in certain things like that. People are going to be even young people. That's who it impacts now, though, isn't it?
It is literally like mostly because they're so obsessed now that they need to know how many likes on Instagram they've got, even when they're doing 60 miles an hour along the back road. Yeah, which is ridiculous.
I know, and then imagine that. Well, it may be your own fault. Then your Instagram page turns into a memorial page, and that's what happens, isn't it? Yeah, it's true, though, isn't it? But
it is. Yeah, unfortunately,
I did enjoy the episode. I have to admit, it was probably the better of the three.
Better of the two so far for me.
Yeah, I would.
I haven't seen the third yet.
I can imagine you probably would say the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me why these were made, but apart from the second one, the first one, it's alright, and the third one, I just didn't see any point. Really.
I have to say I've liked the message of both of them so far, and I think it is like, as I say, I haven't seen the third one yet, but the two, excuse me, I find to be a lot more aimed at
Meaningful.
now,
Yeah.
as in like, you know, pay attention is essentially the short message that, in short, that I've got so far is like, pay attention to what you have in front of you, as opposed to, you know, just having a fleeting sort of, oh, we'll just go and do this instead, or I'll go on a game and do whatever they were doing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of what I've got so far. I haven't got, as I say, maybe I'll change my opinion in the third one, but that's what I've got so far.
I don't think you will, personally. It's the lowest rate of the three, and it's understandably why, I mean. But, yeah, well, I've got the thing at the end.
Have you got one?
I haven't even got one. I haven't even got a little quote.
Why don't you just make one up, off the cuff?
Make a little quote up. I don't think I can even make a quote up. I think it'd be impossible. Why on earth did I forget about getting a quote for the end of the blooming podcast? My goodness, can't believe I've done that. I've got
I can't believe I've done this. Yeah,
I've got a daily quotes.
Okay.
If we want to load,
so you're gonna pick your fave.
It's not a fave.
Have you got a favorite lyric from a song?
Nothing else matters.
Okay.
Whenever it comes down to it, nothing else matters.
There you go. Works.
Yeah, but it doesn't though, does it? I mean, it depends on what you're talking about though, doesn't it? I mean, like, well, what are you doing today? I don't know. I might do something with him. Might do something.
Oh,
with
you were
her.
just talking about it. It works.
What do
You
you
need
mean?
your phone. Nothing. Doesn't matter.
Well, I suppose, yeah. That's weird how that. Yeah, I don't. I don't.
Was that on purpose?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't, but I don't like the way that happened now because I feel like I've just been told to do it. You know that whole free will thing we were talking about years ago?
I was in your head. I was in your head.
That's weird, man. I don't like that idea.
That was class. That was probably the most organic one. That was good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now I'm gonna be like freaking out the rest of the night, man. Did he do something there? That's weird. Metallica and all, because it's weird because we're talking about music as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was meant to be. That was meant to happen, like.
But yeah, we'll end that one there, folks, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you next time, folks. That's the end of Looney Tunes. It's not though.